Chapter 2 Puberty, One Night Stands in the Marriage Bed. Our sensual nature and our experiences in the world are undeniably interconnected, shaping and influencing each other in various ways. We touch, we love, we play, we experiment and push the boundaries of love. The infinite itch of lust drives the human senses into a frenzy. We are spiritual beings seeking a heavenly experience, but our physical bodies long for creative pleasure. We are sensual beings discovering our pleasure zones. The erotic nature of black love tends to get forced into this sarcophagus-like state of darkness. The black hole in black love comes from the absence of sensuality. Sensuality refers to our capacity to perceive and experience pleasure through our senses, including touch, taste, sight, smell, and hearing. It encompasses not only physical sensations, but also emotional and intellectual responses to stimuli. Black men who want to explore their sensuality needs time to process the nature of relationships. The process of going through various phases of our sensual journey, puberty, one night stands in the marriage bed, has never been linked to a process of transformation for many black men who struggle to overcome the desires of their heart. I, for one, started taking a new look at the unexplored parts of the black man's sensual nature that can often coincide with his creativity and intellectual pursuits. I thought to myself, if pimping was legal, millions of black men would take to the streets and fashionably take up a few vixens as armor bearers. Why? Because men are hardwired in a way that seeks to dominate his environment, and other emphasis was placed on finding balance and equality in partnerships, an idea that echoed in the Libra framework. These additional themes aided in the idea of marriage and partnerships. Economic challenges, unemployment, and financial instability affected traditional roles and expectations. Evolving gender roles. With the rise of feminism and greater autonomy for women, black men navigated new dynamics within relationships that required partnership over hierarchy. Desire for harmony. Pluto's transformative energy urged a pursuit of deeper connections, emphasizing love that was just and balanced rather than traditional or imposed by external expectations. Born into sexual freedom. As a Christian, I must create a distinction for my deliberations and add context for my thoughts. We Christians are to become a part of the world, but not of it. Meaning that we can live, move, and have our being in a space that doesn't require us to think and act in concert with the worldly ways of materialism, compromise, and covetousness. Nevertheless, I had to consider why the children of this world in their generation was wiser than the children of light. The children of this world are often understood as those who focus on material success, practicality, and immediate gains. Their wisdom is pragmatic, rooted in strategies, survival, and maximizing advantage. This contrasts with the children of light, who are seen as those pursuing moral, ethical, or spiritual paths that may not always align with practical shrewdness. In today's context, this can be seen in how individuals or groups who prioritize economic and social power often outmaneuver those who focus solely on ideals, ethics, or spirituality. The former are seen as better equipped to handle the nuances of power dynamics, competition, and influence. Yes, I'm a Christian, but it's important that I use wisdom to better equip myself to properly navigate complex social, economic, and political structures effectively. Now that I am awake to my sexual liberation, living through the lower nature, I can make better decisions when it comes to love, courtship, dating, romance, marriage, and building social relationships in the broader context of globalization. As black men, we came to earth with a different message of sensual and sexual freedom. In this freedom, no lustful propositions exist. I'm thankful to our Creator for sending us messengers that brought us this new awareness of self-love and sexual liberation. The black man's search for sexual liberation has taken him to hell and back. He has searched the ends of the earth, seeking understanding surrounding the thorn that always existed in his members. As black men, we are sensual creators of truth who must refute any narrative that plays against our nature. The black man was never supposed to live through his reproductive organs, but create life for the expansion of black love. We are a different breed of people. We are here to spread sensual love and learn how to tap more into our sexual natures in a healthy way. Building a desire for marriage. Black marriage will continue to be an illusion until both parties, black men and black women, can respect the work that each person came to earth to perform. The work that is done in the puberty stage of a black man's development should already be done when it's time for him to commit to the institution of marriage. Puberty in this context is twofold. Puberty, 11 to 17 years of age experiences. Body hair growth that reaches adult levels, a peak growth spurt that averages nearly 4 inches per year, development of acne, continued cracking of the voice, darkening of the skin. And the next phase of puberty is what I like to call the dangerous and often life-changing stage of one-night stands. One-night stands aren't about leaving the club drunk, hooking up, and moving on to the next person. The narrative has now extended to having multiple baby mamas and baby daddies. Young men are not being educated on what it means to stay protected at all costs from moving one's life out of the developmental phase into the pre-fatherhood narrative of limited means. Building a black family structure based on sexual identity and not on self-actualization is a modernized fabrication of the truth. The truth of the matter is that every generation must let go of past programming. The deep psychological programming of fear prohibits love from showing up in the most vulnerable moments. It's not an accident that many of our parents lived through multiple divorces and partners. How many friends do you know have multiple siblings with different fathers? The reason for this is that no black man or woman alive wants to be in a blissful marital union without the full knowledge of self-love, self-worth, and self-knowledge. Divorce, in my opinion, is used as a backpedal for the mistake and mismanagement of choosing the wrong person to procreate with or to build a successful life. Black men often marry thinking that they will settle the score for their desires, often lacking what is necessary for the shaping of one's desires. What is it that shapes a black man's desire? His upbringing, his environment, his DNA? What about his external factors? External factors play a major role in shaping our desires and influencing our sensuality. Culture, societal norms, media, and personal experiences all contribute to our understanding and expression of sensuality. These external influences can shape our preferences, perceptions of beauty, and the ways we seek pleasure. Thought culture, prostitution, video vixens, or porn stars are but illusions of the real truth about what a black man seeks when it comes to his sensual nature. Once a black man releases his mind from the impulses of the sexualized matrix, he begins to understand how to separate his desires from his passions. Most black men desire to pursue their cinematic passion when it comes to lovemaking and romantic expressions, but neglects the very thing that has been set up for them to succeed. Cultural and societal norms often dictate what is considered sensual and acceptable in different contexts. For example, some cultures may embrace more conservative ways on sensuality, while others may celebrate and encourage exploration. For example, in the Indian culture, sensuality is deeply rooted in ancient traditions. The Kama Sutra, an ancient Indian text on human sexuality, explores various aspects of sensuality, including lovemaking, physical pleasure, and emotional connection. Indian dance forms such as Odissi often incorporate sensual movements and expression. Let's take, for example, the Brazilian culture, which is known for its vibrant and sensual nature, especially during annual carnival festivals. Carnival is a time of revelry, music, dance, and elaborate costumes where sensuality is embraced and celebrated. Samba, a popular Brazilian dance style, is often performed with sensual movements and vibrant costumes. Let's turn our attention to the Balinese culture, or Bali, where art is celebrated around the sensuality in a spiritual context. The Balinese dance, known for its intricate hand gestures and expressive movements, often tells stories of love, passion, and human experience. The island's spa and wellness traditions also emphasize indulgence in sensual experiences. There are many parts in the psychology of a black man that needs further exploration. As you will witness in the YouTube narratives of the past pro bros, what black men have been fed in America about sensuality has been a fabrication of a real truth surrounding the development of healthy sexual appetite. The media has played a crucial role in portraying and perpetuating certain ideals of sensuality, often emphasizing external appearances and sexualization. Our upbringing and personal experiences also contributed to our understanding of sensuality, as they shape our beliefs, values, and attitudes toward pleasure. However, it's important to recognize that sensuality is a deeply personal and individual experience. While external factors can influence our desires, it is crucial to cultivate a healthy relationship with our own sensuality. Here are some key considerations. Self-awareness, taking the time to explore and understand our own desires, preferences, and boundaries. Lending its hand to self-reflection, which we can reflect on our own values, our beliefs, and other factors that shape our understanding of sensuality. Communication, open and honest communication with your partner is essential for cultivating a healthy and fulfilling sensual relationship. Sharing your desires and boundaries and exploring mutual consent with respect. In addition, boundaries and consent. Setting clear boundaries for yourself and respect for the boundaries of others. Understanding and practicing consent is crucial in fostering a healthy and respectful sensual relationship. Remember that sensuality is a personal journey and it evolves with changes over time. By developing a healthy relationship with your own sensuality and being mindful of external influences, you can cultivate a more authentic and fulfilling experience of pleasure and connection in the world. The hidden truth. Let me break down the real truth about puberty, one-night stands, and the marriage bed. The hidden truth is that all black men will struggle at some point with their sexual identity. As you evolve through the various phases of the growth cycle, boyhood, young adult, adult manhood, you learn a little more about how to categorize your emotions when it comes to dating, marriage, flings, one-night stands, courtship, and marriage. You learn from the systemic challenges of fighting the white man's fear of genocide and lessons about STDs and STIs, sexually transmitted infections. It's a shame that millions of young black men and adults will contract AIDS, HIV, syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes, and chlamydia, all in the name of lust. Unfortunately, it's life, and sometimes that all races and nationalities of people around the world deal with on a daily basis. The role of hookup culture in reinforcing or challenging perceptions of masculinity is having a toll on black relationships when it comes to navigating between societal expectations and personal morals. Sex still sells in America, but that comes with a heavy price. America is allowing its young population to grow up in sexualized political frameworks of identity. OnlyFans and Pornhub isn't the only mile markers that are creating destruction to the young minds of this generation. What was once a space for redefinition, marriage, is no longer about partnership, support, and shared resources, but about economic survival. Young black men and women, without expressively acknowledging it, is bonding, having babies out of wedlock, and using the hookup culture to feel love, to build community, and to break the structure of polygamy into various frameworks, which lends its hand at bridging the gap between personal independence and unity outside the four walls of marriage. For many black men, this represents both a chance for expression and a challenge to redefine their sexual agency. If a black man has created a framework where he can have multiple wives or live-in girlfriends for the sake of family, why wouldn't he take full advantage of that opportunity, even if it goes against his or her better moral judgment? In Christianity, according to the eye of the youth, everything is a sin, and to live a life of constrained biases based on heaven or hell is not fitting the narrative in this current day and age. Sold out radical youth for Christ sounds good in theory, but only represents a small percentage of young men and women in America who is aiming for those ideals at such a young age. To tell the average youth in America to fight through puberty and adolescence as pure virgins and wait for marriage to find a husband is insane to fathom. Nevertheless, young black men and women who aren't being allowed the freedom of self-exploration is being led to the slaughterhouse without any reservations. Why? Because they love God, but not the internal conflict the human soul must face daily. Growing up in the apostolic movement, I have seen countless women and men give their lives to Christ out of fear or to follow the crowd with blind reservations about what it means to live a life sold out to Christ. Giving one's life to Christ or getting saved early is beautiful, but requires years of dedication to the development of one's own moral compass and psychological shadow at various stages in one's life. The hidden truth is that sex is being enjoyed casually and recreationally like marijuana, with obvious consequences for those who violate its moral referendum. A book about poverty, one-night stands, and the marriage bed is more about a challenge to how you should view your life in the confines of the powerful concept of sex. I don't fault you for not taking sex education classes or learning from the mistakes of generations past. You are a new breed of humans that have entered the planet seeking to understand your role as this new sexually liberated human. The things that you are being fed about sexuality, marriage, the hookup culture, dating, pornography, and fornication comes from past knowledge that is outdated. The goal of progressing humanity does not change when a new generation comes along to rewrite the history books and play a different role in the narrative of evolution. The game has changed for the sociality of sexuality. The future will be genetically hardwired to build new black love structures. It's not an accident that black male-female relationships have hit a brick wall over the last 20 years. Kevin Samuels was the cracked plate for a new foundation of black love to be birthed out of old sexual paradigms. If you are a Christian, the changing of the guard when it comes to your sexuality will go deeper than your proverbial one man, one woman conventional marriage. Yes, the word of God will never change as the indefensible spirit-breathed truth, but there are layers that need unpacking when it comes to understanding how young men and women are to circumvent certain planetary energies that may arise. In the end, our sensuality and life experiences are intricately linked, shaping one another as we explore love's boundaries and navigate desires. Black love particularly has been impacted by historical and cultural shadows, where sensuality, our capacity to experience pleasure through our senses, has often been stifled. This journey of sensual discovery for black men spans phases of puberty, one-night stands, and marriage, often complicated by societal pressures and taboos. Generational challenges, stereotypes, and the media's influence have created conflicting expectations. For many black men, societal influences, from cultural portrayals to economic pressures, have shaped and sometimes distorted their understanding of intimacy and relationships. Finding balance and cultivating authentic love, however, demands a deeper sense of self-awareness and shedding of outdated norms. Embracing healthy sexual expression and becoming mindful of both spiritual values and contemporary context offers a path to deeper love, understanding, and partnership. Moving forward, there is a need to redefine black love and intimacy with a foundation of self-respect, purpose, and an evolved understanding of sensuality, free from restrictive paradigms.